Opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest-running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Kick my heels up and down, throw my hands up and down, throw my head back and down. Come on now, don't forget to say.
All right, by popular request. That means the ladies that were here in the studio has asked me to play this. So, all right, so you
mic is on.
There
awesome.
It is. Yes.
Hello.
So go ahead.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to WSTU 1450 Treasure Coast Forum. I am Amira Meehan, and I'm here with Jamie Paulson and Mr. Frank. I nailed it.
You nailed it.
Did that pretty fast.
Yes.
Wonderful. Getting better.
Right. Yes.
Second
Every
time
week.
in a row.
Yes.
I have a streak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this song popped up on the radio, so we're like, it would be a wonderful intro. Why
Yeah,
not?
it
It's
would.
fun. It's poppy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
All right.
The
So,
Beatles covered it, but
not
honestly,
this-
but
yeah.
they did it.
They
They did
nailed
a better
it.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Good call. All right.
Alrighty. What are we going to start with today?
Well, you guys want to talk about balloons?
The
Is
balloon.
it party balloons, birthday balloons?
Chinese balloon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I don't know why I sounded so happy. But yeah, I think a lot of people have been going crazy about the balloon,
Yes.
the Chinese surveillance balloon
And
that was
rightfully so.
that was just caught flying over U.S. airspace. It was an espionage balloon. And so basically it flew over Alaska first, and Alaskan airspace didn't shoot it down, which is a whole thing that's going on. Everyone's going crazy
Right.
about that. They did shoot it down eventually on Saturday, I believe.
Off the coast of South Carolina.
Yeah.
After
So,
it
yeah.
transited the entire
Yeah.
North American
Yeah,
continent.
it went
Yes.
through the
It
whole.
went
I don't know
over-
why they waited till South Carolina.
It went over Utah. I'm pretty sure. Just every
Montana. So
Mhm.
it loitered.
Oh yeah, it
over-
loitered over the naval base with all the nuclear missiles and
Well,
stuff.
it's not a naval base, but it's an air base.
Oh, air base. I've
Yes.
mixed it up.
Yes, but
Yeah.
yes, there's no naval bases. If
Yeah,
there's a naval
It'd be
base
very
in
scary if it was.
Montana, yeah. California would be very sad.
Imagine there's a secret
because-
ocean. Imagine there's a secret ocean in Montana.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. Air base.
Yes,
Correction.
that's
Air
all right.
base
Go
with
ahead.
nuclear missiles and stuff.
Yes, you're correct.
And there's this whole argument going on about, oh, why didn't we shoot this balloon as soon as it went over U.S. airspace, which would have been Alaska? And all these other people be arguing. They be like, they're saying that if you shot it off the Alaskan coast,
Right.
there's water is 18,000 feet deep. There's ice. It'll be hard to retrieve. And it took them a week, and they still haven't retreated off South Carolina coast anyway. I don't know why they waited till South Carolina
Well,
to shoot it down. That's
it went over Canada.
mm-hmm.
So how come the Canadians? My question is, why didn't the Canadians weigh in? It was over their airspace.
Maybe they thought it was a weather balloon, but the U.S. has confirmed it's not a weather balloon.
Right. But
Yeah.
so were they read in? Did they know? Were they?
Maybe they were just busy
mean,
with maple syrup.
I have questions. I have
Yeah.
questions. It's there are more questions than answers. And even the top of the news, the top of the hour, they're still talking about it in the news. Apparently, some of the components that they've uncovered from the downed balloon had English writing on it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That means that they're sourcing materials, open market, and so that's kind of interesting.
And the chute that they found, the fabric for the chute, they traced it. It was manufactured by a Chinese company that helps the military a lot in China.
Ah.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is China, why would China make something so conspicuous, so out in the open? Like,
Well, normally those balloons fly at about 80,000 feet,
Mhm.
which are not conspicuous. But
Okay.
Yeah.
this was flying at 60,000 feet.
which is viewable by
More-
Maybe there was a technical difficulty.
It could
Wind?
have been. Could have been. Well,
Bird.
it was. They said it was. No, birds.
A
I don't
bird?
think- no.
Maybe a bird just hit it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows
no.
what happened?
Not enough oxygen. 60,000
Oh,
feet.
okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty high then.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
A bird? No.
A plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
So
I'm
you
sorry,
know,
it's my
it's
fault.
we were saying, you know, it's conspicuous, whatever.
Conspicuous,
Yes.
60,000 feet.
Correct. So it was, according to our military officials, they said the balloon was under guidance and control from another party. They
Mhm.
suspected was China.
Mhm.
They've been watching it since it left the Chinese coast. They were aware of it. But anyways, it's just fascinating. So it was
Mhm.
under control, but for whatever reason, it was flying at a very visible altitude. The reason why we even are talking about it is because it was viewed by people in Montana, Billings, that with an iPhone and some cameras, and they started taking pictures and they were releasing it to the press. And so the White House or the Department of Defense decided to get ahead of the story, and they released it just ahead of the actual release of the uh, photographic evidence.
It's
Mm,
crazy
okay,
that
good.
people in Montana find this before like our whole US government or
Yes,
the military
So,
find
so
it.
the backstory, as I understand it,
Mhm.
is that Secretary of State Blinken
Mhm.
was scheduled to have
Yeah,
a
he was
visit
gonna
with his
go.
counterpart
Yeah.
in China, cancel that visit because so
Balloon.
they decided. So the thinking is, we don't know for sure, but the thinking is that they decided to not make this information public until the public discovered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And because they wanted to do this high level visit, but they couldn't do the high level visit because this balloon got in the way.
Okay. Wow.
So it's a little bit of, kabuki dancing
And then I
there.
believe all the way even back in the Trump presidency there were China has done this before.
That, but the Biden administration said so. Their default
Mhm.
claim, anything that goes sideways, they go, well, Trump did it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is nobody in the Trump administration or the any organization that I know of that can say definitively that that did happen
Mhm.
prior to this. They're aware of the fact that the Chinese had a balloon program.
Mhm.
They knew they had flown balloons. They didn't. There were nobody's aware of the fact that any balloons transiting the U.S. until now. So,
Okay. So
anyways,
my question is like, what evidence are they trying to gather? I mean, there could be
They're
tons of
trying to
things out
see
there.
exactly what
Well,
the
they want-
motive was.
well, they want to first. They want
Or
to.
sorry.
They
Ex-
want to get all the components. They want to basically reconstruct this thing.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But the-
I meant to say like China. Like what is I obviously this it could be so many things, but what was their intent? Because they've already created
Oh,
all these
So that's what we're
programs.
trying to
Surveillance.
figure out with surveillance. Now,
Surveillance.
the components that were found afloat off the coast of South Carolina, some of them we figured out the FBI identified as super high precision cameras.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I think they were looking for something specific.
Right now,
Okay.
Maybe.
I believe, and I'm not certain, but I believe there was a report that the U.S. government was able to electronically disable the balloon.
Then why shoot it down?
Yes.
Right.
That's another thing I was thinking of. Why
I
did
saw
they
that.
shoot first and not actually check what it was?
Well, so they were able to electronically jam it, so it couldn't. If it was taking pictures, those pictures never made it anywhere. It didn't go anywhere.
And then why did they wait till it goes in the coast of South Carolina? Why couldn't they shoot it at any other time?
We don't know.
Did
I
they
don't-
want this to happen? Did
I-
they want it to get in the ocean and the components not be found?
I don't know. So supposedly the FBI and the various agencies, the FAA, for example, they've reconstructed crashed airplanes, and
Mhm.
so there's there's the capability, and we're probably premier in the world in this capability of assembling things that are broken, and then be able to reverse engineer and fully understand what it is. But to me, it would be better if it was more intact, less work to do. But anyways, I would have borrowed the drone ship from Elon Musk and then
Yeah.
just position it directly underneath the balloon, so when it falls, at least you can
Yeah, we
catch
could
it.
just retrieve it, or we just put
Right.
a tracker on it, or we could have just got like a hacker or someone. I mean, America has a lot of smart, that has some smart people. Well, the scientists are smart, the politicians aren't,
Right.
but the scientists are smart. They could have, intercepted it, maybe override
Yeah, and
its tracker path.
It can be that when you're falling from 60,000 feet, the components probably wouldn't survive very well if they hit a hard surface.
Yeah.
And then they figured maybe they get a better survivable outcome if it hits the water. So that could have been part of the
I don't know.
calculus.
I would have
Yeah,
tried to
right.
change its pathway and just make it like put a remote control on it, maybe,
Mhm.
and just make it land somewhere
right.
that we want. I don't know why they didn't do that. They seemed to wait it. They waited till it went all the way across the whole country. So I
Right.
don't know why they couldn't wait to do that.
Well, another story I read said that they launched a air to air missile from one of our fighter jets. I think it was the F-22 Raptor, but they didn't know if if you puncture a hole through that, if it would come down or not. It would just continue on. They didn't know they've never shot with high explosive munitions a balloon before.
What if they poke two holes?
Okay.
Yeah, right. So yeah, but anyways, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just more questions than answers for sure. It would have been fun if they could have been able to send another balloon up to join it and then lasso them together and then muscle it down. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's so
right?
many different things they could have done.
Right.
Someone in Montana could have brought out their drone
Yeah.
and just
Well,
maybe put a
they
hook
don't-
on it.
They don't go that high. They,
Oh.
Airliners only go about 40,000 feet.
Oh wow. That's
So
high
that's
balloon.
20,000 feet higher
Wow.
than what airplanes.
Because I'm like
fly.
when you say that Montana people saw it with their eyes, I just think
This
it's
thing was-
lower.
This thing was ginormous.
Yeah. How,
It
so
was
how is
as
it
big-
controlled?
How big was it?
It was 3 school buses.
Oh my god! I
Oh,
thought it was the
yes.
size of an actual normal
No.
balloon that you
Oh,
find.
No.
It was 3 school buses big.
Ginormous. That was just the electronic package. The balloon above it was even
It was a hot air balloon.
So is it
some sort of gas.
is it controlled like remotely like a normal
Mhm.
drone? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they probably have that technology.
So
Okay.
why didn't they just move it higher so we wouldn't be able to see it?
Maybe
Did something happen?
maybe something happened. It could have been
Glitch.
faulty electronics. Yeah.
Do you think it? I don't know. I was just thinking.
Maybe
might be
China
crazy.
put that there on purpose. Maybe they wanted us to shoot it
I
down.
don't know.
That's-
It's
that's what I'm
because of
saying.
bad
Yeah,
face.
'cause-
Chinese are all about. I would think.
Yeah, I know, but who
Right.
knows? Maybe
Like-
someone in the Chinese government, a particular group, may have
sabotage
corrupted,
it.
sabotaged it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they
Or-
wanted to do something.
Well, the Chinese government would not have knowingly especially knowing that they had a meeting with
Mhm.
the Secretary of State.
Mhm.
They wouldn't have knowingly I don't know,
Did it
put
at
a-
this time.
Yeah,
So I
thumb-
think maybe it
a
was
thumb in the
sabotage.
eye, just before a visit like that.
Might have been sabotage from a third party.
Yeah,
That or could it?
it's
Could it?
interesting speculation.
Yeah. Could it be a decoy for something? Like I don't know what
Mm.
they might be.
Maybe
is
they
a-
wanted us to get distracted and look at this balloon when there's another
That-
balloon somewhere else.
There is another balloon. It's,
What? Plot twist.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I was thinking.
transiting South America even as we speak.
Wait, Chinese balloon.
Same. Yeah.
So do they have the technology to shoot it down?
I don't know
Well,
if they
probably
want to.
have. Yeah, I don't know what. They
Is it
wanna-
where in South America? Brazil, Argentina, Chile,
Well, whatever.
Uruguay?
Uruguay.
That's so random. But yeah, is it
It's fun
there?
to say.
Somewhere. I don't know.
Somewhere.
I haven't looked at the flight path. So
Do we know if it's over Europe? I mean,
No,
Have we gotten
probably
any-
not. They would have shut it down right away.
maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
But-
So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright.
it's very strange. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what else you got?
Well, I was just researching. So I'll probably get into this next week. However, I was researching insulin and when it was created for diabetic type 1 people, to be able to, process carbohydrates and not allow their blood sugar to, raise above normal standard and have them have health problems.
Okay.
So I was just researching that, and then up until 1920s, they created insulin from, they got insulin in like rejected, or like they took insulin from cattle to be
Yes.
able, because our insulin DNA is like kind of is very similar to cattle and pigs and cat stuff like that. So
Okay.
so they were able to use that, so we to ingest to into our pancreas for us to be able to treat diabetes type 1 and
Mhm.
have that insulin shot whenever we need it.
Right.
So that's pretty interesting. And then up until I believe 1990, or up until then, we created GM insulin, which is a genetically modified insulin, just like GMO. You have your
Genetically
GMOs.
modified crops and stuff, right? Like
Yes.
that, except it's insulin.
Organism, yes, but insulin. So we created DNA, we were able to produce it. So it was just kind of like the ethics of, and whether if it's safe to create GMO insulin. So then I looked up a video and I saw GMO insulin compared to GMO food, and why GMO insulin is maybe a little bit more dangerous than food, or why we should consume food or whatever. So why GMO insulin is healthy and why maybe GMOs are not, genetically modified organism. So that's what I researched recently, and so a lot of the arguments to GMOs, genetically modified organism, and GMO is a thank you. Here, I'll just tuck it. GMO is, so basically in a lab, we create a genetically modified DNA and we insert it into organisms and like corn and just food for it to have traits that we would like to see in them, like to have maybe
More drought resistant.
mhm,
Right.
like
Bug resistant.
yes, exactly, in immune to pesticides and stuff like that. So just researching that. And so basically how it all started was, I think, I don't remember, but I think GMOs, so the first GMO ingested in food was created in 1994. It was approved by the FDA in 1994, and it's been researching for hundreds of years. Or sorry, not hundreds of years, but a lot of years. So it took like 30 years of research, so many labs to say that it was healthy or like that was okay for us to ingest. So basically it started out as these scientists created it. They're like, this is interesting. Okay. So back then, the way that we got our vegetables into, like the way that we developed our vegetables and how we wanted them to be and just our food, is breeding plants that have desired traits. Like we would take, so if you actually looked from a watermelon from like 100 years ago to now, it's very different because of the way we took the genetically modified different like parts of the watermelon and just breeded those plants together and just left out the rest. So it's like selective breeding or something like that.
Is it like, are we making watermelons evolve?
Essentially just taking different parts and extending them, taking different traits and just
So we're
advancing
doing
them.
like a whole Charles Darwin natural selection.
Yes,
New
just by ourselves.
adaptations
Yep, for our benefit.
for our benefit. What about the watermelon's benefit?
I don't know if they interviewed the watermelon.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
Poor
did. That'd be
watermelons.
interesting.
Poor watermelon.
We might be able to speak to food one day.
Yeah.
So
You
wait,
never
have
know.
I ever actually seen a natural real watermelon, or is it all GMO'd?
It's not GMO. It's just we take desired traits that we want, like how we see birds.
Genetically altered watermelons?
It's not genetic.
They don't have genes, but what do they have that
We
we're
don't-
altering?
We never ingested anything in them up until 1994. We just took what they originally had and we
Mhm.
just breeded those watermelons or whatever. We breeded those desired traits with one another to create more of those.
So
basically,
breeding
here.
watermelons is not like there's a girl watermelon and a guy watermelon
No.
and they love each other.
No.
Breeding watermelons, you're
No.
talking about
So
the
we have-
traits are breeding.
yes, we take
Okay.
similar traits, we put them together, and that creates more
So
of
there's
the
a girl
exact
trait and a boy trait to create
So
a nice,
basically-
better trait.
If a watermelon, if basically let's say a watermelon was purple, and then
Mhm.
we or it had like a specific type of flavor, and then for some reason like an off. It's what is it? You have the dominant, then a non-dominant trait appeared, and another
Recessive.
watermelon. Yes, there we go. Recessive trait appeared. So let's say that a recessive trait appeared, and it was very beneficial to us, and we could eat it. And it required. or
We'd
it
make
had
the
a lot of-
recessive dominant.
Yes, we keep creating those, and that's how it happened. That's how we have the watermelon from here from back then. That's why it changed.
That's
So we technically, or in
Well, you
1994,
imagine now we've got watermelons that are seedless watermelons. Those are modified.
right?
Right.
Yes.
That's an example of a modified product.
How
Yes.
exactly do these new watermelons benefit us more than the old watermelons?
Well, they could have more fruit on them. Like the old watermelons, they had very much around. They had a lot of green rather than the edible part that we could eat.
Oh, it's just the outer shell and not the inside juiciness.
Yes, and just creating more of the fruit rather than just the things that protect the fruit.
So
The
we make
rind.
more
Yes,
juiciness.
the rind,
We made more juiciness.
like of an orange.
I love the human race.
Yes, we get it. We have more food resources, stuff like that. So that's how it all started.
All right.
And then should we go to break soon? Should I
We should. Let's
All
do
right.
that. When we come back,
Well,
I've got your answer on your second balloon question.
Wow.
And we can
Wait. The
Woo!
sabotage one, or was it a distraction one?
no, it's another balloon, the one that transited.
Oh, the distraction.
Yes. Maybe.
Juiciness.
all right, we'll see.
We'll find out more when we come back. So
Yes.
stick with us.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you.
All right, a little nod to Burt Bacharach, who sadly left us. And he was 94. So good life. Indeed. Beautiful music. He, big songwriter, composer, big award winner.
I had no idea he wrote my favorite Aretha Franklin song.
He wrote a lot of amazing songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, composed a lot of soundtracks for movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, good guy. All right, so just a little
He will be
nod.
missed.
Yes,
Remembered forever.
indeed. Yes, and we get to listen to his music.
Of course. We always have a little piece of him.
Yes, very good. All right, so back to. Do you want to talk? But
Do you want me? Do you want me to
The
continue about the
distraction.
GMOs?
Yeah,
Or
all right.
the
Yeah.
okay.
Go and do that. Finish your thought.
All right. So, continuing on. So, when the GMO was first created, these people, there was a lot of controversy, and everybody was like, this thing is alien, this thing is foreign. I don't know, I don't want it to be in my food. Like, what's going on?
Europe hates GMOs, I believe. Like they'd stay away from it.
Okay, yeah. So the whole reason behind creating a GMO was that we could insert the DNA that we wanted, and not just constantly having to breed and selective breed different plants that we needed. So we could just
See, we've been doing it for thousands of years by
Yes.
selective growing of crops. The crops that have the features that we're looking for, will grow those instead of the ones that are similar, that we just kind of retire those. We don't grow those because they don't have the, like apples. Apples have been modified for generations, right? The apple we eat today is not the apple that they had thousands of years ago.
I wonder how different it tasted.
Yeah, that's a good question. And the only way we'd be able to know is if they found a viable seed from a long time ago and was able to propagate it, grow it. Yeah.
Seeds can last that long?
Well, we found some seeds that were they found in some in Egypt, and that were buried. It has an unusually dry climate, and sometimes things just last a long time.
Because the seeds are rare, are they like really, really expensive? They're like $1 billion seeds somewhere on eBay.
I don't know about that.
Can you like
Possibly.
spend millions on a seed that's so rare?
Well, I imagine you probably there's a market for everything. I
yeah,
imagine,
why
right?
not?
Sure.
So I was gonna say something about that. Okay, so yeah, the whole reason was that you could ingest DNA that you wanted to grow the plant, right? And it's a much more efficient process rather than planting, growing, and waiting for something to change.
Right.
So yeah, so we could just make our own change, because that's that's the theme to
Right.
theme this just advancement in the theme for the current status of the world. Great.
Right.
So
current thinking.
yes.
Yes.
So originally when they were planted, everybody was rejecting it. They're like, this is alien, what's going on? So what happened was a genetically modified like DNA strand got out into the fields somehow. And we don't know how it happened. Maybe someone put it in there. Maybe the tractor that was like putting the pesticides on the plants was contaminated with it. Somehow they got out there. So these plants started to grow, and they were different. And so that's when we got into the idea of, are they harmless? Like, what's going to happen? So that's when they first grew. That's when everybody first saw it, and that's when we pursued it. So
interesting.
yeah, this was about 1990s.
So if we could modify the adaptations or features in a fruit or food, could we somehow modify it to the point where it's really, really bad and we make something like a monster fruit, like monstrosity? Because you know how when there were those lab people with COVID-19, how they just kept modifying a virus and it got bad. What if we did that with the fruit?
Gain of function research? Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I imagine.
Has that happened?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. It probably wouldn't be approved for people to go out, and buy it. So I don't know.
What if it was a type of gene where the side effects or symptoms didn't show right away, and it happened after a long time, where the FDA already approved it, and all of a sudden we have zombie watermelons?
Here's an interesting thought for you to
possible.
ponder. Okay, there's a seed company that most farmers buy their seed from, and so every year they make, when it's planting season, they sell their seeds, right? So if they have let's say you have an abundance of cash and you want to, and seeds are pretty stable, you would think, right?
They can be kept a lot of places.
You could do that. So if you say you had extra cash and you wanted to buy more seed for the next planting season, or double up on your planting season type thing, you could do that, except for they genetically engineered the seeds that after a year seeds would die.
Yes, I think I read about that.
Yeah.
To prevent something, right?
Well, because these are products that they make, and of course next year it's going to be more expensive than this year. So they, so I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it, but they basically wanted control of their product, and they didn't want the product out there in the field and people using it at their leisure. They said, if you buy our product, you have to use it or lose it.
Wow.
But these companies like this, if they get so corrupted, Ireland could have another potato famine or something like that.
Right.
That's insane. They could rule the world.
They could. Yes.
They probably already do.
They probably.
There's already like that. Every
Film
single
at
day I
11.
wake up, I find 3 other people who could probably rule the world in a corrupt way that freaks me out.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
Well,
there's fruit people.
Yeah.
Fruit people. fruit.
What the heck?
Melon heads. Okay. We got a caller. All right. We'll take this call and then we'll go on to the balloon. All right, you're on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, it's Deb.
Hey, Deb.
I have a question for
Sure.
these young people
All
about
right.
they're propagating watermelons and doing this and that.
Yeah.
What is the play in the bees? Because the bees pollinate and go from,
Right. Plant
this,
to plant.
this flower to
Mhm.
that flower.
Right.
And also the birds, when things are planted, pick up and they fly away and drop seeds down
They
and
do.
can propagate and make different things happen at the same time.
Right. Lots of
That
good.
was just a question.
Yeah, good questions.
It's not only in the seed production, but it's with what goes around and makes everything pollinate.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Deb. Yeah, it's good.
I was just a thought I had that,
Mhm.
it could change with, just like the birds pick up fish and go from one pond to another and
Right.
they fall off and they propagate in a different pond.
Right.
And the bees go from flower to flower and they leave a little bit here and a little bit there. And how does that go into the equation?
So we don't have to just worry about the production, but also the distribution.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel so much safer.
That's a great question.
It was
Deb.
just a thought I had.
Yeah.
I like that thought.
All right. Well, do you want to assign these ladies a homework project and see if they can research that for us? Maybe we'll get an answer next week.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. We'll assign them
Thanks.
homework. I like it.
Hey,
Thanks, Deb.
guys,
Thanks.
have a great night. And I love listening to you. You are
Aw.
so delightful and so knowledgeable that most people in this whole area need to listen to this show.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
so
sweet.
much. I'm gonna cry.
Aw.
So sweet.
And you care. You care about what's going on.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
They do. We all
Okay.
do. And you do
guys have
too.
a great night.
Thanks,
Hey, you
Deb.
too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She was sweet.
She's a sweetheart.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah. The main reason why I'm doing the radio show is because it forces me to do something that a lot of people don't do by themselves, which I very much appreciate because I love being informed and I love talking about this stuff. So
Mhm.
I'm so glad I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're able to do it when you're not lifting weights.
Yes.
Right.
Because season ended and I'll be back on.
Okay. Good.
I come because I always learn something new, and I also love attention.
So she.
We love
Well,
you.
because you're a budding star in maybe the theatrical world going forward. Maybe.
Yes, I'm here to do drama. Tell us how that
No.
is.
No. Wait, drama? Oh, I tried to audition,
Yeah.
and I definitely 100%. I'm usually humble, but I'm gonna be honest here. I sang better than everyone else.
Amira
Nice.
is such an incredible singer.
Isn't that
Oh
great?
my goodness.
I sang
Like
better than everyone
she
else.
sang at
Still
her
didn't
birthday
get
party.
I didn't even get understudy
Nice.
to anything. Not even understudy. Not even the tree. I told Jamie beginning of last year, at least I'll get the tree. I didn't even get a tree. I didn't get a munchkin. It was Wizard of Oz, by the way. I didn't even get a munchkin.
You could have been a good
I
munchkin.
could have been the yellow brick road. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind having people walk over me and sing. I don't care, but nah. I got the background chorus, which is everyone else who didn't get a part. So I left.
Good.
I left
You're
as soon as
better
I
than them.
came. I came and they didn't know who I was. And I made myself known. And they still didn't care. And I left.
They still didn't.
I leave when I'm not valued.
No, yeah, Amira has one of those voices that she can project so much. And
Strong.
yes,
Strong voice.
very strong voice,
Yeah.
very nice tone. She
Mhm.
makes the song her own. It's just beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're going to have to record something, put it on
Yes.
an MP3, and we'll play it.
No.
Yes, one of
No.
the
Yeah,
a Walkman.
do it at home. You could do it at your own leisure, and then we'll just play. She's shaking her head. No, you can't hear this on the radio, but she's shaking
Yeah,
her.
no. The radio has stopped. It's broken. Turn it off.
No, Amira.
You talk her into it, right?
Oh, I will. I
right,
will.
All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. Cool.
You're gonna do
She
it.
probably. I probably will now.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Oh, no.
All right. So we got 2 minutes before our next break. We just talk a little bit about the balloon. Where was the second balloon first spotted? The U.S. Department of Defense said on the night of February 3rd that it has seen reports of a balloon transiting Latin America and assessed that it was also the Chinese surveillance balloon akin to the one that flew over the U.S. The balloon made its way across various Latin American countries, but the response from those nations was muted. Colombia's Air Force issued a statement Saturday saying it had detected an object flying at 55,000 feet, and it was entering the country's airspace and in the north a day earlier, and then monitored it until it left Colombian airspace. It said the balloon didn't represent a threat to national security and defense, as well as air safety. So they allowed it to continue on over to Costa Rica and Venezuela without incident.
This confirms my suspicion.
Yes.
It's in North South America, and it's moving up towards where, geographically speaking, America. It's coming
America.
here.
No, it's actually transiting. I don't think it's
going a little north.
Yeah.
Think about
Oh, well,
Colombia, Costa Rica's,
yeah,
where that
Venezuela,
that
yeah.
bridge, up to then Mexico
All right.
and then America. It's
Yeah.
going up, not down.
So that'll be interesting if they're going to
Yeah.
splash that one too.
Yeah,
So,
right. There's a lot of water.
Yeah. Wow.
Or they might just wait till it gets to Alaska.
It's all-
Yeah, they're just gonna wait.
Well,
Why did they wait?
I tell you, it's a mystery. It's up there with the pyramids. Okay. So
Amira, you know the song you should sing? I know you're gonna hate this, but my heart will go on.
No, no,
Amira, you have to.
all
You have-
right.
you,
We'll
people
talk
belt
about
for that?
this
Yeah, okay.
when we return. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking.
There we go.
Oh my
Little
goodness.
Burt Bacharach for you.
I did this song in my second grade graduation thing.
Oh,
I went on stage and I did all the gestures.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
brings
great?
back some memories.
yes, memories. A 16-year-old with memories is
Yes.
wonderful.
Thank you.
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah,
I
right?
can't relate.
I can't really. Too funny. That's great. So we have some interesting things going on in the world. Americans didn't tune in for the State of the Union address. Imagine.
Oh yeah. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
No. Whoa.
What a surprise.
So
Whoever was speaking probably wasn't liked.
Amira?
70% of Americans disapprove.
70. That's the majority. That's such a
70.
big majority.
Yes.
Well, think about it. The party that's in power that elected the president is part of that disapproval.
I know
number.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. As soon as I saw that, I'm like,
And
why is this happening?
They're talking now. The big talk this past week has been throwing the vice president under the bus and dropping her from the ticket. So there's a
Okay.
possibility she may be asked to retire. So,
Oh, before her.
well, either play out her term or she could.
Then
Then
who
She mi-
takes?
well,
we know
then
this. The Senate president or
Wait,
something.
Wait. So Speaker of
So-
the House comes after, right?
only so the order of for presidency
Mhm.
is president, vice president, speaker. You're
Mhm.
exactly right.
And
on
then the
that.
president pro
So-
tempore, right?
president pro tem.
Who's
That's-
that? Who's
Mhm.
that guy right now?
That would
Current.
be the president of the Senate.
Who
Or
is-
no, the president of the Senate is the vice president. So that would
Yeah.
be the second person of authority in the Senate, I think.
Okay.
Isn't Nancy Pelosi?
She's Speaker
the-
of the House.
Yeah. So then
Well,
she
not
would.
anymore.
Wait, really?
After the election, she's no longer Speaker of the House.
Is the term 2 years?
No,
Her-
yeah, the term for the House is 2 years, but the Republicans gained the House in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
They took over
Oh.
in January, and in January they elected a new speaker, and he's a Republican.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of
Well, I see you learn something new every day.
right.
I know.
But we should have known this, but you know.
I
Yes.
know. I still thought Nancy Pelosi was.
Well, she
Speaker
was.
of the
Well, she
House.
was because she's going.
When did
on
the election
100
happen?
in November.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
recent. It's my birthday. Oh.
Okay, here we go. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, you should have watched the State of the Union.
Really?
Biden's State of our Soviet Union, whatever you want to call it.
How you doing,
Yeah,
Bob?
apparently, I missed that part, but everybody was talking about Kamala Harris and her husband and the president's wife, Jill.
Yeah.
Were kissing each other, and it kind of looked like they were making out.
Oh my God. Gross.
Yeah, it was. I watched it to see how many times Biden might bumble, but he didn't do bad at that. He lied all through the thing.
Right.
It was great. It was
Right.
like the British, you know,
Uh-huh.
the guys that wear the powdered wigs and they yell at each other.
Yeah. Oh,
it
yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's
I-
fantastic. So, but yeah, the bumbling, I was hoping, like the other day, Biden said, half of the women in my cabinet are women. 50% of the women are women in my cabinet.
50%.
Nobody knows what he was talking about.
Huh.
You know, he
Yeah.
left out, I guess, the transgender guy
Yeah.
in his cabinet that was stealing the luggage for ladies.
No, wait, no, he wasn't in the cabinet, was he? No.
Yeah,
He-
no,
Yeah,
oh, I
he
guess he
was.
was.
He was. He was like a senator or something.
No, he was secretary. He was in the defense. He was the guy who worked in the defense department. But I don't
No,
think.
he's the head of nuclear waste.
Yes, he was the head of nuclear waste.
Now he's the head of waste.
He's wasted.
Yeah.
And then one
Yeah.
thing on the balloon thing.
Yes.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, before the whole thing at the State of the Union, was walking out front with the balloon.
Ah.
But I think if they could have got an F-16 up on top of that thing and draped the Southwest Airlines thing on it, they could have had Southwest cancel the flight.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It would have landed. I mean, safely and in one piece. I don't know.
Yeah.
But hey, I enjoy you guys' show. The show's been great, like Deb said. I like Deb too.
Yes, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I think Amira should sing Louis Armstrong.
Oh.
Remember that song? I got
Maybe.
trees of green.
Yeah, What a Wonderful World.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah, I
world.
love that song.
Yeah.
I love Louis Armstrong.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. All right.
Oh,
cool.
and Burt Bacharach, you know who he was married to, right?
No, refresh my memory.
Angie Dickinson,
Oh,
remember?
that's right. Yeah.
And which was a strange kind of thing because he's like this great, amazing musician, and
Right.
she was kind of like the Burt Bacharach of women in Hollywood. She had a lot of partners.
She yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys.
yes.
Hey, great hearing your show, and I can't wait to hear Amira sing next week.
Okay, very good.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Very good. Okay, now we have a
Wait,
request.
on the show live.
Well, you could, or you could
No.
record it and bring it in.
Yeah,
All
Amira,
right.
just record.
All right, thanks, Bob.
However she wants to do it.
There
You
you
know,
go.
Okay.
you know, with P Diddy in the background, whatever.
He did. All right. Fair enough.
All right, guys. Good,
All right,
good to
thanks,
hear
buddy.
your show. Great show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right.
Nancy Pelosi's husband got attacked.
Again?
Yeah, no, he just got attacked. So basically, there's a dude who just broke into the house with a hammer,
Right.
and then he was waiting for Nancy, and the
Right.
husband was there, and he's just like, okay, and he just waited.
You got-
He secretly called the cops because the guy was chilling in the living room. The cops came. As soon as the cops came, door opened.
Mm.
One of the body cams showed the guy just hit Nancy Pelosi's husband's head with the hammer.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's like 90 something. I think he's
Oh.
okay, but I'm surprised he survived. Like, it looked really bad.
Oof. Yikes.
Was
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not up to date with it, but what was the reason?
Well, we
the
don't
guy
know.
was waiting. He was just a psycho that trespassed and got into the house, and he said, I'm waiting for Nancy. And so then
Oh.
That's the
he hit
official
him.
story.
I think he just got
Oh.
angry because he called the cops. So then the cops came
Yeah.
and he didn't know what to do. He's like, I came here to hit somebody. So right before they take me,
Wow.
I guess he just it was bad.
Aw.
Wow.
Okay.
It looked bad. I saw the video and ugh.
Ugh. Mm.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay,
so in the
so-
closing minutes, we'll talk a little bit about Jim Jordan. He is the new House chairman, and he is accusing he's part of the House Oversight Committee, and they're looking at the Merrick Garland and the guy in charge of the FBI, Christopher Wray. That have been they kind of weaponized their departments to go after the parents that were complaining during school board meetings, and which is kind of that's your job to, if you're a parent, you
Mhm.
don't like the way your kids are being taught, or you don't like the subject matter, or whatever it is, you don't like the way they painted the walls, you go to the school board meetings and you talk about it,
Right.
and it's okay.
Get involved.
Free speech, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And but apparently if you're not allowed free speech in some places, and the Department of Defense or the Justice Department, rather, not the Department of Defense, the Justice Department and the FBI started investigating these parents.
What?
Yeah.
Just investigating parents who are just making complaints to the school board?
Correct.
Why?
Because they wanted to intimidate them so they would shut up and go away.
Seriously?
Yes.
They're just complaining about, I
So-
don't want my kid reading To Kill a Mockingbird in the first grade because it's too complicated.
Right, or whatever their complaint is, but some of it had to do with the woke ideology,
Woke ideology.
and all that kind
So
of
was it that the parents were challenging woke ideology,
Correct.
or they
Correct.
encouraging? Okay,
right.
they were challenging woke ideology.
they're right,
Okay.
and so
Mm-hmm.
anyways, so that'll be interesting. So Jim Jordan, he is the bulldog of the House, and he is the chairman of the Oversight Committee. You'll be hearing a lot more from him in the coming months.
Where
So,
did this happen?
I think that was in South Carolina.
Why is
I wanna
everything
say, or
happening in South
Virginia,
Carolina?
maybe
now?
Virginia. I think it was
Oh,
Virginia, maybe.
Virginia?
Could have been Virginia.
That's so.
Yeah.
That's so weird. That's
Yeah.
so unjust.
Yeah. So so look for that. That'll be interesting. And we got a couple minutes. You got any closing thoughts for the next 2 minutes?
Just
Sound can be used to stop loiterers and weird people harassing other people in front of Burger King.
Okay.
Different types of
Yeah,
sound.
it all so.
You want to explain yourself?
Yeah, I
Please.
will. I
All right.
will. I
All
just
right.
have to. It's how radio and entertainment works. You put a hook. Don't
Yeah.
explain yourself. Pause for
Yeah.
dramatic effect
Ah,
to keep people
Uh-huh.
really, really anticipating what
okay.
you're gonna say. Now
I'm
I'm gonna
hooked.
do it.
I'm hooked.
All right.
Reel me
So
in.
it all started in England, where there was a train station with high crime, and it wasn't like felonies, like people are just bombing the trains or shooting people. It was a bunch of misdemeanors caused by people harassing one another, little robberies, all sorts of things, like loiterers. So as a result, the train station and local businesses that all around the area who had these loiter problems met up with psychologists, and so they started playing Mozart and classical music blasting through the speakers in these areas, and the crime dropped like crazy.
Do people not have an ear for it?
Number one, that's one reason. Another reason is that actually it induces dopamine, and then they just feel calm and they don't want to do crime. They just want to chill and hug everyone and peace and love. But then, yeah, some people don't like it. Also, a lot of loiterers were young people, so young people just don't want to chill in a place with music that they can't vibe to. So then America tried it. It was working. They did it in Burger Kings, all sorts of stuff, and it's a peaceful alternative to what was it, the type of unhomeless friendly urbanizing, where they put spikes on benches and stuff like that to keep homeless people away from
sleeping on benches.
city streets and tourist attractions and stuff. So instead, they just play music.
All right. Say goodbye.
But it didn't work in Palm Beach, Florida, because of course Florida man will break the speakers.
Okay. All right. We got to go. Talk to you next week. Bye.
See you guys.
See ya.